Hey guys, Mike Dawes here, and I'm here to talk to you about the sexiest subject in the world,
acoustic guitar strings.
Let's go. So back in 2007, when I started my acoustic guitar journey, one of the first things I had to figure out is which gauges of strings would be the most suitable for my style. Now, I found myself playing in DAD-GAD tuning a lot, which is D-A-D-G-A-D, and the perfect gauge strings for that would be 13, 17, 24, 32, 42 and 56. That would give me the feeling of a light gauge string on every single open note, okay? Now, I realised that D'Addario phosphor bronze strings were sort of the gold standard at the time, and my local guitar store had the light strings and the medium gauge packets, so I would sort of go in and take 3 strings from a light set and 3 strings from a medium set. That's why this old sort of duo set I found in my guitar case earlier, looks so hacked up. It was an expensive way of doing things. Little did I know that D'Addario actually also made a straight up DAD-GAD set that was available online and in other stores. It was early internet era, 2007, I didn't know any better. So for years I used these strings, the DAD-GAD set D'Addario phosphor bronze, but when they introduced the nickel bronze strings a few years ago, I was won over due to their brightness, so they had a slightly brighter tone, which for me meant that the tone lasted for longer on tour. As the string's life decayed, they maintained their brightness for longer. But also the tuning stability was better, and they set in to tune quicker. I can't really explain it other than the fact that if I snapped a string after soundcheck or just had to change my strings just before a show, I would be secure in the knowledge that they would lock in very, very quickly and I'd be able to do the show without worrying about the strings. All of this was great, but the one downside to sort of being someone who sweats like an Englishman on holiday is that I would corrode strings relatively quickly. Any uncoated string is not going to last as long as a string with a coating. But I was always kind of put off by the heavily coated strings because, as someone who sweats a lot when he plays, I was always terrified of slipping up the guitar neck and missing the notes I was aiming for at shows because of this almost butter-like texture that many coated strings have. In the studio as well, it was very, very hard to be accurate with coated strings, although I felt they benefited the takes actually, because you would get less little fret squeak and chips and twerpy, chirpy noises that you get on the uncoated strings. Enter D'Addario XT guitar strings last year. Now, somehow, these lab boffins at D'Addario have managed to create a coating that doesn't feel like a coating. And it doesn't really sound like a coating either. The way I think of it is, no aspect of my playing has had to change to play these strings. These strings feel exactly like the nickel bronze strings or the phosphor bronze strings under the fingers, but there's far less fret squeak and chirps, and they last way longer than the previous strings that I used. What I mean by that is, I can play, instead of 3 shows before I have to change strings, I can play 6 or 7 shows before having to change strings. It has really, really, really changed my life switching to these, and you can hear them all over my new live album actually, as I was using them all through the second half of 2019 and the pre-COVID 2020. I had the good fortune of doing a D'Addario clinic tour with Yvette Young here in the UK last year, and I used the same set of XT strings for the entire tour. So they've been tried and tested. I absolutely adore them. I honestly think that D'Addario have ticked all of the boxes with these, and I wish them all the success with them. Thank you, D'Addario, for changing my guitar playing world, and thank you, D'Addario, for making my guitar tech Chris work less. Cheers guys, enjoy D'Addario XT strings. Take care.